few questions. First, Werner, this is such a different body, such a different story than what you've done in the past. You haven't. Some of your films are mysteries, but you've never done kind of a crime thriller. What attracted you to this project?
Well, in general, since I live in the United States, I've been out for new horizons, new alliances, new production companies, new distributions, new actors. I've been out for very exciting things. And of course, in this case, it was a collaboration with Nicolas Cage and the city of New Orleans, which was the main attraction. So it fell in place very easily. But I'm not standing still, I'm not treading on the spot for decades, I'm not one of those.
What attracted you to the story, and also, I mean, the chance to work with Herzog, obviously?
Well, yeah, absolutely, to work with Werner, and also I think I was attracted to the challenge of it, the sort of automatically adventuresome spirit of it. You know, to make Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, in New Orleans with Werner seemed almost audacious. So I couldn't help myself. I immediately said yes. And it was important to me to make the movie in New Orleans. New Orleans is not like anywhere else in the world. You know, it has all these different energies. It was colonized by the French and the Spanish and the African energies and magic, and it's the birthplace of jazz. So I thought if I could go back there and make a movie and embrace that spirit of jazz, meaning my understanding of it is you know your lines so well you go off page and you start improvising. And so Ava and Werner and I would all get in a room together and start riffing. You know, Werner was so supportive of that, so open to that, and encouraging of it. So it was really a great marriage for them.
And speaking about Louisiana, I mean, it's a jungle of another kind. And what I liked when I saw the films, that you constantly seem to have the decay in the foreground and in the background of the gleaming towers. Can you just talk about how it was to shoot in Louisiana?
Of course, the challenge was New Orleans after the hurricane, and of course a breakdown of civility, and that's where the story belonged. But it would be far-fetched to compare it to any jungle or so. But of course, the city itself, the location itself, is one of the leading characters in the film, and so is the jungle in Fitzcarraldo, for example. So in a way, I always see a location as an echo, as a reflection of our own existence, as if it were a quality, as if it had a human quality. The jungle is like the fever dreams and the illusions and the wild stories, and New Orleans has some very, very special qualities that you can see in the film. However, I had to adapt much quicker. Nicolas Cage knew the city for decades and loves it, has a place to live there, and it has deep importance for him. I had to go and move in very, very quickly with hardly any time of pre-production. But when I have to be fast, I am fast, and I do deliver.
Another question for all over the floor. The interesting thing about this film and the other film, the film Hustle, My Son, What Have You Done, is you use many of the same actors. So Brad Dourif, Michael Shannon, and there were some other faces, Fairuza Balk, who played the motorcycle cop. Can you talk about your choice of actors and who you kind of surround yourself with?
I'm out for discoveries, and in the other film, My Son, What Have You Done, I simply had a goal. Make a film for very little money, but with the best of the actors, almost like a manifesto. So that's a different sort of ball game. Here we are in a much larger production with much more money involved, and I'm proud that I delivered it under budget. It doesn't happen very often, but I looked very much after the money, and I wanted to make sure that it stays within the possibilities of profitability. it's a big issue, and we should not lose it out of mind. And it is a film for audiences. It's not for Nicolas Cage or for me. It's not a private affair. So our stakes were different and they were higher. And a challenge which was very good to accept, and I think we both enjoyed it. And I can only say, whatever was in me, and I suspect whatever was in Nicholas, we gave it all into that film.
The other thing that was challenging for me was simply that I hadn't had a drink in 5 years, so I was completely sober. And unlike leaving Las Vegas, where I was maybe having a drink here and there with my drinking coach to find certain innuendos into the movie, this one was completely, I hired a guy named Tony Dingman, who was a poet, who was also a